Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the newest edition of the Quarantine Concert Series. I'm your host, Kabir Segal. We're doing this every night. By now, it's a habit. This is show number 32.
Wow.
32. We've been at it, just like taxes. You can count on us. Every night, right here live from the ATL. My parents' home. They're sleeping upstairs. We're having a party in the dining room. And it's a nice dining room, actually. I've commandeered it and turned it into a video studio. Got my fancy little mic. And we have some new graphics today. Very exciting. Some very new graphics. And Emmet was the perfect person to have with his new graphics. We're going to get into that, but I want to thank everyone for watching. First, why are we doing this? By now, you know, we're international emergency. And so we're all having to physically distance, not social distance, but physical distance. And the gigs have gone away. So a lot of musicians and a lot of the people who are in the live entertainment space have had their gigs just canceled. Musicians, artists, of course, producers, engineers, bookers, promoters. There's a whole ecosystem of folks that their way of life has been negatively impacted. So we've started this broadcast in earnest to put the spotlight back on the artists, back on the virtuosos that share their music and create wonderful experiences for us. We have to be there for them in this moment to make sure that the music keeps going, right? So that's why we're doing it. Number two, where can you find us? You can find us everywhere. We're on the Facebook. We're on the Twitter. We're also on the very delicious Instagram cracker. We go live on Instagram, and so you can see my fancy sunglasses on Instagram. We're also on LinkedIn. So if you're searching for a job right now on LinkedIn and we're interrupting your the search, please forgive us. But I think we're gonna. I don't think you'll be able to become a jazz musician by watching this broadcast, but you can certainly be entertained. And for all of you vice presidents, associate vice presidents, chief financial officers, CEOs, search engine optimization, webmasters, all of you guys on LinkedIn, welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. All right, we're also on YouTube. Check it out. Subscribe so you get notified on all these broadcasts. We're so thankful, especially to LinkedIn and Facebook for partnering with us on these broadcasts. We're averaging 50 to 60,000 viewers now on recent episodes. So thanks for, tuning in. We didn't think it was going to be that big, but you're certainly validating what is amazing music. All right, those are some of the people who've been on the show. If you're an artist that wants to get on the show, shoot me a note on Instagram or Facebook. It's a long line right now. We have about 60 artists on the waiting list, but we will try our best to get through this. I can only do so many shows because my parents only sleep so much. So 10 p.m. Eastern, and on the weekends we do matinee showings, 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. I'll talk about that at the end of the show. So that is that. I also want to say a big shout out to our partners, All About Jazz. They are an incredible website. They've been leading the jazz field. They started in 1995, and they're like one of the best, I think the best jazz website out there. And they're putting the spotlight on web series and web concerts. Their official tagline here is the most comprehensive jazz resource on earth. So if you're a jazz musician, get an artist page there. If you like to read about jazz reviews, check out this website because they always review the freshest content. And we're also simulcasting the show on allaboutjazz.com. Michael Ritchie, who started the organization, is a leading light in the jazz community. We really appreciate his support, and so check out his website, subscribe, create an artist page there. Also donate. It's an incredible operation that he started, and we need to make sure that we're all supporting each other in the jazz ecosystem. All About Jazz. Thank you very much. All right, with that, now for the fun part of the show, where we get to introduce the genius, the man. It's really fun, actually. I didn't. Sometimes I dress up on a Friday night. I like to wear something nice, but today I kind of was comfortable with my white tracksuit because this is a concert. I don't want to say. I mean, this is a very comfortable concert because it's the music I love the most. It's sorry everyone else, but it's jazz music. It's piano. It's just hearing someone who's an incredible talent someone who I'm sure you've all heard about, but you're going to be hearing about a lot more for the decades to come. And when you hear his music, he's crafting, composing, playing at the highest level. And it's a real joy and privilege to present to you tonight the great Emmet Cohen. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. How was that intro?
It was good, nice and long. You got everything in. You thanked the sponsors.
Yeah, but most importantly, I want to put the focus on you because it's been a tough time the last few weeks. Tell me, how has the pandemic affected you, and have you had to cancel many gigs? What's the status?
Yeah, I mean, it's affected everybody in the world. So I guess if it affects everybody, it affects nobody, right? Almost.
He's a philosopher too. I love it.
No, it's a crazy time to be alive. I always check in with my jazz master friends. Someone like Houston Person or Tootie Heath or Jimmy Cobb. You know, they've never seen anything like this in their whole life. They've never experienced anything. The people in their 90s have never come across anything like this before. So, it's unprecedented. There's no way, we're supposed to go about this. And I've read a lot of things, ranging from how to be happy during this time to, to don't worry, you're not supposed to use this time to do anything. Just relax, and it's okay. I've heard about a lot of people not being able to sleep. I can't think of another time that I'll probably be home for 3-4 months without getting on an airplane in the rest of my life, God willing. So
Yeah.
that's it's definitely an opportunity. It's definitely a change. It's definitely it's an adjustment, I think, for everybody. And there's also a very sad component of it that especially affecting the jazz world. So many people are kind of getting sick and in the hospital and passing away, and not only that, but their loved ones can't go to their funerals. So it's really, really actually tragic.
Yeah, it really is.
But
Tell me about some of the gigs you have lined up.
God, I mean, I'm pretty busy throughout the year. I think the last gig I played was in Canada, in Manitoba, and it was about March 15th, and we flew on March 16th, and I was supposed to go from there to a residency in Indianapolis at the University of Indianapolis, and from there, Savannah Music Festival residency with Veronica Swift and others, and I was supposed to be on a duo tour with Houston Person through the Midwest, through Nashville and Kansas. And this weekend, actually, I was supposed to play at the Jazz and Lincoln Center at the Appel Room. I was musical directing a show with my trio. It was supposed to be with Freddie Cole, Nat King Cole's brother, Houston Person, a great vocalist named Mary Stallings.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that got canceled. So there was a lot of nice things on the horizon, and I think everything through May. I was supposed to go to Europe in May, and in June we're supposed to play every Canadian festival with Veronica. And
Yeah.
in July we're supposed to go back to Europe and play a bunch of festivals. And I think you just have to take what comes, and we're improvisers. Jazz musicians are improvisers, and it's a tough time, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of hope out there. There's a lot of music out there. There's a lot of collaboration. There's a lot of people reaching out to people who normally wouldn't reach out. And I think it's important to find the silver lining and the positivity that can come out of such a tragedy like this, and also the way it unites the world. Everyone in every corner of the world is experiencing some version of this. So I feel it would be mighty selfish to be upset like the world revolves around New York or me or the jazz scene. Everyone's dealing with something, so it's important to remember.
Yeah, but for now, Air Emmet is grounded. And I almost don't want to hear you play because you speak about the situation so well. And I can tell I haven't seen you play live, something I wanted to. I'm sure just in the brief interaction we have, you have such commanding stage presence and how you describe things and assess the situation we're going through. What would you like to begin your performance with tonight?
That's the one thing I didn't think about. But why don't I play... I had something on the tip of my tongue. Let's play a nice tune called Sweet Lorraine.
Great. It's it's just me, but I promise I'm reflecting the
What
love you're
happened to
getting from around the world.
what happened to the audience track you had?
There's a crescendo. We're not the there's a crescendo through the show.
Okay.
But you're getting a lot of love. Donna Scott says I love that stride.
Thanks, Donna
Um,
Scott.
Jim Kennedy says chicken soup for the musical soul. It warms me up. So I guess he's saying your playing is very soupy, which is
It's
good.
supposed to be like water, right?
Yeah, very soothing, very cool. Some questions on Instagram. What kind of piano are you playing right now, and why that piano?
I'm playing a Steinway M. I am a Yamaha artist though, so shh.
Oh,
But I had the piano before I had the endorsement, so that's a hard thing to swap out. So I do normally play Yamahas, but this is a Steinway M, and I was touring in Europe about 7 years ago, and my father called me, "Hey, there's a estate sale." I didn't have a piano at that time, and my father called me, "Hey, there's an estate sale, and they're selling this piano, and the price is pretty good compared to what they're supposed to be worth." He said, "Here's me tinkling a few notes." He doesn't really play piano, but he said, "If you want it, I can get it for you, and you can pay me back." And the price was good, and I bought it blindly without ever playing it, and it's a beautiful, piano.
yeah.
And so
What
I got pretty lucky.
What do you keep in your piano bench?
There's no bench actually.
Okay.
It's just a stool.
Very
But
modern.
I have a stack of music. There's a pile of stuff over here.
What's on the top?
On the top? God, I mean, I have little pieces of paper with set lists on them and things that we played. So I have
Filing cabinet.
I have a lot of notes and pieces of paper. Right here, I have somehow an a cappella arrangement of Silent Night that when it gets to be winter, I put in my pocket so that we can bust
Yeah.
out in 3-part harmony if we need to.
Totally. Totally.
Some mail that people have sent me
All right.
that I still need to get to.
You're getting fan mail here. We have a comment from Gina. Handsome and talented.
Here's my one share health insurance information. So under that is some music, I swear.
Yeah.
I got my Mozart book here. I've been using this time to play some classical music.
See that
And
comment? Handsome and talented. It's about you, my friend.
They
Tell
might
people.
be talking about you, Kabir.
No, I don't think so. Maybe that's both of us together. So the duo. Tell me. I want people to know a little bit about your journey, real quick. You're from Miami originally, right?
Yeah, that's right. Born in Coral Gables.
And then you ended up at Frost. Why did you end up going back to? Why Frost? I mean, I know the school very well, but why was that the right place for you?
I think there were a few factors. The first one was that I moved away from Miami when I was 11 years old, and I said, I wonder what it's like to live there, to be an adult there, and to experience where I'm actually from, and so that was like always kind of underlying in my brain. There was that, and there was also the fact that all the musicians go to New York straight out of high school, and everyone sees them kind of grow up musically, and they're in smalls, learning songs or getting yelled at by older musicians or whatever it is, and it's a hard thing to develop and also be on the scene at the same time. Not impossible. So there's that, and there's also the fact that I met my mentor when I was in high school in Indianapolis at the Jazz Band of America, and his name is Shelley Berg. And he's the dean of the school there, and he said, if you come study with me, I'll really make it worth your while. And there's actually another story where it was the Jazz Band of America, and it's like a high school conglomerate group like the Grammy Band used to be. And I was warming up, all the students were warming up, and we were getting ready to play, and I was like just banging on the piano, like going to town on it, just having a good time, like, freaking out because I'm 17 years old. And Shelly said, hey, we've got to, and he was a guest too. He was going to play. He said, hey, don't bang on the piano. You're going to put it out of tune before the concert. I said, oh my God. He said, if you come study with me at University of Miami, I'll teach you how to play the piano without putting it out of tune. I said, how do you do that? How do you do that? And he said, come study with me and I'll show you.
It's something that, for the inside scoop here, something that stayed with you, because during sound check, You even mentioned that. You said you're only going to play at a certain level to keep that tuning that you have, right?
Yeah, well, that's a quarantine problem. So,
Yeah, yeah,
no one can get their piano tuned
yeah. But
at the moment. So I have to be gentle with it.
Shelley's a great person, and what a talent, and what a fascinating individual as well.
Yeah,
Shelley,
I do a live stream concert on Mondays with the trio who are quarantined all up and on the street together, and he sent me a virtual tip on QuickPay. So thank you, Shelly.
cool, cool. What would you like to play next?
Uh, let's see. I got an original tune that I haven't played anywhere yet. That we just recorded on my last recording session, which will be upcoming record on Mac Avenue. Um, and this is something that I don't think many people have heard yet, but this is called Reflections at Dusk.
They love that one. They love it. I think that was the one. They're pro reflections.
Can they hear that on Instagram too?
Oh yeah. It's the first time I've done the wave on the show. All right. And they're very well trained. Hey, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I want to take look at all the love you're getting here. Antonio L. Brown says there's nothing better than great music being played in home. Igel says beautiful. Claudia Miranda, beautiful composition. Very nice. I mean, these compliments can keep you going for a couple of days, man. I'm telling you. I want to talk about your recording so far. I know you have a Mac Avenue release coming up, but talk to me about the series you've put out with some like incredible legends, and why you wanted to embark upon sort of a multi-series format.
I've had a few experiences with the jazz masters over the course of my career. I grew up when I moved to New Jersey. I grew up down the street from Billy Hart. And so he would call me up on the phone and say, "Hey man, how soon can you be here?" I said, 45 minutes. He said, no, how about 20? I said, okay, I'll be there in 20 minutes. And he's like, I need help fixing my computer.
Yeah.
So I go there and help him fix his computer for 5 minutes. And then, and then we'd sit and talk about music, and he'd show me records and sit me down in front of the TV and play Ahmad Jamal videos and talk about the way the New Orleans drums and the and the African rhythms interact and the relationship, and just learn a whole bunch of things from him. And same experience over and over again with other jazz masters. So when I first moved to New York, I was in the Dizzy Gillespie Big Band, and so I'm playing piano here, and in the first tenor chair right next to the piano is Jimi Heath. And
Wow.
Yeah, Jimi Heath, he was in that band. I got to spend some time around him. We took a bus down from Disney, from where do we take it? From New York City to DC to play the Kennedy Center on New Year's, and I kind of sat like catty corner from him, and he was talking about having Charlie Parker over his house for dinner, and how he would lend him his horn and go watch him play and stay with him the whole time so he didn't pawn it, and then Jimmy would try to play his horn the following day, and nothing would, he's like, "You didn't leave me anything in here," just little anecdotes to like really get a feel for the history of the music. And I said, wow, like if there's any way I can continue that, but not only for myself, but bring my entire generation closer to these musicians, that's what it was really supposed to be about. That's what it is supposed to be about. So so far I've had an opportunity to work with and play and record with Jimmy Cobb, with Ron Carter, with the Volume 3 with Tootie Heath and Benny Golson, which is a Philadelphia connection, and the one you have on the screen, number 4, with George Coleman. And they've become very close and have mentored me in many ways, whether they know it or not, and also to be able to share it with the other people in my generation and give other people who may not have access to them just a look in. I mean, even on Volume 3, I have a few tracks of Tootie Heath and Benny Golson talking back and forth in the studio, and it's not even about the things that they're saying, but it's about the way they phrase, the way they carry themselves, the way that the music is related to their personalities, and I think it's just my duty to share a little piece of that with the world, and yeah, those musicians are the source of the music, so I've become a lot closer to the history and the source of the music through them.
I'm a bass player, or try to be a bass player. Tell me about your experience with Ron Carter and putting that project together. What was it like working with him?
I mean, he's the greatest sideman in the history of music. He's the most recorded musician, other than there's one Indian musician who's sang in more movies than Ron Carter has played on records. But he's the most recorded bass player for a reason. I mean, he finds a way to make some magic out of that music. And the way he describes it, he said, we're just chemists. And we're mixing little test tubes and putting a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And sometimes it's a beautiful thing. Sometimes it's a new discovery. Sometimes it's an explosion. And that's the way he thinks about music. I've
Yeah.
also never met anyone as prepared as he is and as focused as he is. One time I hired him to do a master class for some of the students I was teaching through this organization called Young Arts, and uh, and he came down and he flew at 6 o'clock in the morning from New York down to Miami, got off the plane straight to the master class, about 11 or 12 in the afternoon, and he gave a master class for 3 hours, maybe actually 4 hours, without once taking a break. And he made the kids focus so hard that they were ripping their hair out of their socket. It was just like an incredible thing to see what kind of power and control he has over his mind and his body and the things that he's able to accomplish when he brings that to the bass. And so it was just an incredible experience to be able to work with him and make the record. It was actually the first time we played together. I called him up and asked him to make a record. That's Evan Sherman on drums, who's my longtime collaborator. And we grew up in New Jersey together playing in all sorts of situations. Fantastic drummer. And we actually just completed our second week at the Village Vanguard, just becoming a regular annual thing, which is, Ron Carter hadn't played there actually in over 20 years.
Wow.
He had a falling out with Lorraine, and
Sweet Lorraine.
Yeah, exactly. And I asked him if he'd do it, and he said he would come back and play with us. And it's just been it's a learning experience and a magical, just a magical moment every time we share the stage together. And you never know what he's going to do. He's always trying to make everyone play something different every night, which
That's
is
true.
Which is the beautiful thing that provides longevity in this music.
Totally. What would you like to play next?
What would you like to hear
I want to hear something maybe from that record.
from that record?
Yeah. Should we put the repertoire up there?
Yeah. Let me see what
I don't know if we have it. Or play something from one of the
You know what?
Masters series.
I'll play something by one of the masters. Benny Golson is the great composer. One of the great American classical composers of all time.
Okay.
There's a few others that are like the real American classical composers through the post-bop era, the 50s and the 60s. Cedar Walton, Wayne Shorter, Horace Silver, and of course Benny Golson. So this is something about Benny Golson.
Before you start, for those of you watching at home, if you have a question, just drop it in the comment box. I'll be sure to ask Emmet and get him to opine. All right.
This is his tune, I Remember Clifford. I'll take these headphones off.
Awesome. I know. That was so brilliant, man, and so
Thank
lush
you.
and beautiful.
I'm gonna grab some water. Hold on.
Yeah, that's cool. One of the reasons I want to show some of the feedback here, Claudia, I really appreciate your support, and it's nice that 10 viewers watching as well. Um, a lot of the time, when we hear these great artists, we almost get spoiled. And some questions coming in. First of all, Donna Scott says one of my
I just want
favorites.
to
Yeah,
dedicate that to all the people we've lost.
yeah.
Excuse me.
We've lost, yeah, and it's been a heart-wrenching week,
Andy
actually.
Gonzalez today, and of course the great
Yeah.
Ellis Marsalis and
Right.
Wallace Roney, Eddie Davis, who played guitar with Vince Giordano and would always play at the Rum House. There's been a lot of loss this
Yeah.
week, so that song is always a powerful reminder to remember and honor those who are no longer here and who left too soon.
Totally. It's actually something I think, if you're not a musician, it's something that's sort of eye-opening, the connection to mentors. And like when you play a piece that was written by, especially in the jazz world, you play a piece with, jazz is unique in that way. You're collaborating with Ron Carter, who's in his 80s, right?
Yeah.
And you're making an album with him. You're working with these incredible legends. And that's what makes jazz so special, is that you can pick up your instrument and just sort of connect with someone across generations so easily. Not to say things about other art forms, but you're actually doing something wonderful and in keeping with the tradition of collaborating with the grandmasters, and I think becoming one yourself. So it's really beautiful to see you connect with the masters in this way, and to dedicate, even that you're dedicating a song in this way to them is very special.
Yeah, it's just the circle of life too. All of my heroes, Ron Carter, Benny Golson, Tootie Heath, they're all mentored by musicians who are older than them, and they were all taken under their wing by somebody. And I think that's an important thing to remember. And now I'll be 30 next month.
Happy birthday!
I'm 29. I'm 29.
It's okay. These things
No,
happen.
I'm saying I'm enjoying the last month of it.
Yeah,
being
it.
able to say that.
Yeah.
No, but I find musicians coming up, and now people are 10 years younger than me who are out here on the scene, and and it's incredible to kind of like see that cycle happen for itself through my perspective, and it's very it sneaks up on you. Every school year, a new crop of students comes to Juilliard, and you're like, wow,
You're good.
This young pianist named Micah Thomas, who's pretty freaky mind. Sean Mason's another young pianist, but these guys are like over 8 years younger than me. So it's an interesting thing to just see that circle of life.
Do you ever feel? Sorry if this is puts you on the spot. Do you ever feel competitive? Do you ever feel artistic jealousy with artists that are out there? Does it ever creep into your mind at all? Like, look what other people are doing. How do you navigate that?
I think it's only human to know what other people are doing or what they're up to or what's going on. But I think that's the case in any field. I think if you're in a corporate environment, you're like, are you jealous of your boss, or do you think you can do your boss's job better than you? Yeah. People are always going to, say no to that question. But I think it's, human instinct to feel that. But I try to approach it with a pure heart. And I came up in a generation of pianists who are unparalleled. I think people like Sullivan Fortner, Aaron Deal, Christian Sands. There are so many great pianists in this generation, and it's humbling to just see what everyone's doing. And I think there's a big sense of community, especially between all the pianists. Piano is a competitive instrument by nature. Mm-hmm. They would have cutting sessions, and James P. Johnson, Willie Lyon Smith, and Fats Waller, and then Monk would come in, and there's been a history of that. But it's not a competitive jealousy thing. It's like, oh wow, that person can do that. Like wow, what is that? Show me that.
Yeah,
and there's something to learn from everyone, and I think that's the most important thing.
Speaking of competitions, you recently, you're on the almost the anniversary date of winning the piano competition. Tell everyone about that. That sounds like an incredible recognition and well deserved.
The American Pianist Association is amazing organization, and their mission is to help young pianists in both classical and jazz. And so I was fortunate enough to receive the prize a year ago, and came with a cool package of rewards and awards and things like that. And the coolest thing actually is the record deal on Mack Avenue. And so I just recorded last January. I can't believe it's already April, and I recorded in January with some of the great young musicians. So it's supposed to be I wanted to counter the Masters Legacy series and have some of the great young musicians of our generation. So it's my trio as the bass, Russell Hall and Kyle Poole, and then
Is that the picture?
night. Yeah,
Okay,
that's from
cool.
that's from that night.
Where's the bowl now?
The bowl is at my parents' house. I didn't want it here. I didn't want to remind myself of that. I don't really
Yeah.
I don't really love to think about it every day, like
I hear
about
you.
about
hear you.
that. I'd rather kind of keep it moving and think more forward,
Totally.
and not kind of reminisce on the good things that happened, but appreciate them. But it's it's easy to kind of get caught in the past, so I like to just keep it moving forward. But anyway, the record is with Marquise Hill on trumpet and Melissa Aldana on saxophone, and so it's supposed to be a kind of a direct response
Awesome.
to the Masters Legacy series by having a young band and connecting with the people of my generation,
Yeah, yeah.
and bringing the things that we've experienced from the Masters, obviously, to that situation too.
Well, you mentioned Melissa. Melissa will be on the show on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
And you mentioned Veronica. So Veronica was on the show a week or two ago.
Yeah, tuned in for
So
that.
it's the quarantine alumni program here in a
Well,
way.
yeah, it's a
Thanks.
small community
Yeah, it's
of
great to-
people, and that's what's so special about jazz. The community is so deep and so tight knit,
Yeah.
that everybody knows each other, and
Totally.
it's if you're going through a bad day, I have a million friends that I could call and talk
Yeah.
to about it, or if someone's going through something, they can always reach out to me, and that's what the music's about.
Totally.
On the bandstand, it's the same way. If someone needs to be lifted up, or someone needs to be given some positive energy, you're able to sense those things as a musician,
Right, right.
and act accordingly.
A question on Instagram wants to know: do you ever sing when you play?
Yeah, sometimes I think all jazz musicians sing. All jazz musicians need to be able to sing, because you have to hear it in your head and in your voice, and all the instruments. Improvisation is singing, and you want to sing through speaking and singing, and you want to sing and speak through your instruments. I think that in order to sing through the piano, you got to be able to sing through your voice first. I don't consider myself a singer, but I do, I do spend some time doing it, and I do love a lot of the great piano singers, and especially the trumpet players are the ones that always sing, because the trumpet is the most direct relationship to the human voice.
Yeah.
And, so all the trumpet players, you hear Dizzy Gillespie sing, you hear Chet Baker sing, you hear Pops, Louis Armstrong sing. They all have that.
Totally. What would you like to play for us next?
How much longer do we have?
We could probably fit in two quick ones. We have
Two
about
quick
15
ones?
minutes left.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just going to play and see what comes out.
Sounds good.
It's the quarantine blues.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. That was awesome. Taking us to church.
Playing a
Check,
little church, playing a little blues.
yeah, exactly. Ronnie says she loved your comment about singing through a piano. Mary O'Brien says, what an intimate experience. Thanks for entering my world and brightening my day. Speaking about entering your world, I want everyone to go to Emmet's website. Let's put it up on the screen. There's actually an exclusive section, exclusive membership access section. Tell us about this. What's behind the screen here? What can people
Well,
access?
the premise is that there's been a long journey and a long build up to where I am today, and there's been a lot of people that supported me and helped me along the way, and I wanted to open that up and allow people to have that same experience moving forward. And so this is the perfect time to set it up. I've just been around and had the time to do it. But what I wanted to do was create an exclusive membership portal where I would put full concerts of videos I had. So the last thing I put in there was a full concert, hour and 40 minutes with Houston Person that we did at Penn State last year, and there's also an EP from 2016 with Joe Saylor from The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and John Baptiste, and Russell Hall, which was never released before. And also it's got all of my records. I've made 8 records so far in this short career, and they're all available for digital download there. So that's like a ongoing blog post with cool things and additions every single week. At least for now, I'm doing every single week. But I think the idea was to do kind of a once a month thing and curate a little inside look into my world. And everyone who signs up also gets a vinyl copy of Dirty in Detroit. which is one of my last trio records,
Yeah.
with a cool cover, Detroit artist on it. And so there's some other cool perks and privileges. And when I come out with a record, you automatically get released, automatically get it sent to your house, and so other things like that. So that's basically the premise. But if anyone wants to find out more without committing, you can always put your email in on the website. There's the place to sign up.
Do
for,
it. Everyone needs to do
for the
this.
newsletter. So
Yeah.
just emmetcohen.com.
Yeah. Exactly. We strongly recommend the exclusive section here. So some applause for that. I would also say that check him out on Spotify. Subscribe to his music. Look him up on Instagram, so forth. He plays occasionally live on Instagram. When is the next project coming out? Do you have a name of the album and when it comes out?
We didn't confirm the name yet, so
Okay.
I'm not going to announce
Work in
anything.
progress.
So it's still in the works, and
Okay.
I think it's going to be mastered sometime next week
Cool.
or next month, and it'll come out in September in the fall.
Awesome.
And
Well,
so
congratulations on that.
if everything works out, I'll have a release week at Birdland in September.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that, but hopefully.
Yeah, totally. That sounds awesome. Well, there he is. Thanks for joining us on the show.
It's my pleasure.
Let me
This
see.
is a great thing you're doing.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Let me do the final announcements here, and then maybe you can play us out. So I just want to thank the sound and tech team here who help us every night. Sandra and Camilo, they're a great audio engineering team. They're open for business. So if you're an artist or an engineer, need mastering service, for example, check them out at their website. Maybe we can put it up on the screen. Ask for their Oreo and Maui discount. Those are the names of their dogs. Woof woof. You get a discount if you mention them. And just beautiful people, very hygienic, smart people, good people. All right. I also want to convey some tough news we got today. You already mentioned it, but Andy Gonzalez, a great bass player, passed away. And he was kind of a leading light in the jazz and Latin jazz community. He was a mentor, one of my mentors, Arturo O'Farrell. So, really, it's a tough time out there for the creative community. We all need to come together. And your rendition of I Remember Clifford was so stirring and poignant. So with that, I want to dedicate the show to Andy. We got a swinging bass player up in heaven tonight. So thanks for all you've done, Andy, for all of us. And with that, I just want to say, Emmet, what a pleasure to have you on. I think you are an amazing individual, talented, kind, generous. And I'm so excited to see where you go next. And if ever I could be of service to you, please let me know. You're always welcome here.
It's funny. This is the first time we're really meeting. So
yeah, exactly. But I feel like
what a pleasure. See, this time brings people together that may not have come together. So
yeah. When I saw you work with Brian Lynch and you're at Frost, I feel like you're. I'm not officially part of Frost, but I know the folks down there well, so I feel like there's some connective tissue there, and obviously your music is what's not to like about that. So,
thank you.
Maybe we're gonna do something a little bit different. Maybe just play, and then I'm gonna wish everyone a good night now, and then we'll end it maybe in 2 or 3 minutes. And tomorrow we have Yuri Juarez and Sofia Tossello at 3 p.m. Eastern, and then tomorrow night we have Cyril M.A. Live from New Orleans.
Nice. Tell her hi for me.
I will. So maybe a 2 or 3 minute piece. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Kabir. It's a nice tracksuit you got on there.
Stay right there.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
This is for you. Flowers are a nice touch, huh?
Thank you. You can send them to the house.
Yeah, we will. All right, man. God bless you. Stay safe, everyone.
Kabir, thanks a lot, man. Take care.
Take care.
Thanks, everyone, for watching.